in person in a long time. So, hi, how are you? It's been a while. And I'm kind of at I guess, my 6.5 month mark in Austin, having moved from Maui. So, that was a big deal. And it took a lot to pull that off. And there was a lot more calibration that was happening than I expected. But now I've gone through all that. I'm set up at my house, and I had to set up house from scratch. Took a lot longer, but I wanted to talk today about, oh, and for those who are new, I'm Shia from Austin now, professional Tantra specialist and love coach. And I have been experimenting since I've been in Austin with the whole other side of things, which is like domination, BDSM, kink stuff, um, which kind of covers a lot of ground, honestly. There's a lot to it, and it also requires a lot more like toys and tools and stuff like that, which I don't have all that yet, but I did start including it in my sessions so that I feel like I'm offering the best of both worlds with Tantra as well as the whole kink domain and all of its extremes, and it's quite fascinating. And so I'm blessed that there is a professional Dom here that does it consciously and therapeutically, which gives it that much more power because you can take issues that someone's wanting to work on and kind of weave it into the role play of the whole doming session or kink. And to me, that's really fun. All that role playing and kind of, it might even involve costuming, which we know I'm a fashionista around that. And it just, I don't know, it's just so playful and fun and creative to be able to add that into the mix. So it's kind of nice to be able to play with those tools too. So, in going to this BDSM training with this famous Dom, I met someone who's also kind of famous. And he happens to be so in the erotic blueprint system, which you can go online and take the test to see what you are. There's 5 different sexual types. I was pretty even among them all, but I was foremost an energetic sensual. And he happens to be a shapeshifter, which gives him a lot of versatility. And he reminds me of an old love of mine in Maui. And he is delightfully as strong as me or stronger, which allows a lot more um, capacity to play with because he's strong enough to pretty much handle anything. And when I mean strong, I want to say like energetically strong or just strong when it comes to will or character is kind of what I'm referring to, because sometimes I feel like I'm so much stronger than, say, some of the men that I encounter that it's harder for me to respect them truly or feel truly met. Anyway, so we discussed doing this scene today that happened this morning where I got to experience for the first time, which it's like, universe, why did you take so long to do that? And I guess there's a perfect timing for everything, and it was just meant to be for now, but it feels kind of late in the game because I felt like I've been like wanting to experience this for a long time. Very fascinated by it, kind of intrigued and just wanting to really experience what it's like to be truly domed, and also to truly dom someone too, to experience the whole realm of it, because you learn a lot about yourself in that process. Sorry it's so wiggly. I'm actually having to hold this by hand because to get it at the right angle and height, it just is what it is. Uh, so we discussed him doming me so I could have that experience and, see what comes up. Oh, bless his soul. I gave him a run for his money. I think I'm a little high maintenance because being so strong, I just kind of saw through the whole Dom sub thing. Like, why are we playing this stupid game? Kind of like, like I just saw through it. And, it's like, okay, well, okay, I guess I'll just play along because otherwise, it's kind of silly to me. It was almost, I saw kind of how it could have its manipulative side to it. And I saw how it wasn't like it was just role playing, right? Because I literally had an answer for everything, to question what he was doing cuz kind of part of the experience is that they can go into a mode where they're just sort of punishing you for everything and you can't win and you're not asking properly or saying yes master every time or whatever. So, sort of designed to have you be punished all the time, like you can't win. And, that's where flogging and spanking comes in and stuff, which I kind of, just going through that experience, I realized that that doesn't do as much for me as maybe I would, I think, appreciate like having a pleasure dom, I think is what it's called, where they're pleasuring more and it's not all about just punishing constantly. Cause I noticed that part of me was like, I know that I am so deserving and I am so good that I don't deserve to be punished, period. I've been there, done that, like already lived that just naturally, where with disappointment or betrayal or whatever in life. And so I was just feeling like, I just deserve to be loved. And that's a good thing to get in touch with. Um, because I was telling him, it reminded me of like growing up Christian, where sometimes if they get too fundamentalist, or honestly, if they get too dysfunctional, they're constantly telling you you're a sinner and that you're no good. And it's like, I don't need to hear that. That's bullshit. I am divine and sacred and I am capable of a lot. And Jesus said that we shall become even greater than, him, that, we're way more divine than we realize. And we have all these gifts that are hidden a lot of times. And that he was just an example of what we could be and what we're becoming. And I'd rather hear about that. And I also got in touch with the fact that being that the love language of verbal affirmation is my number two and really high on my priority, I really know that I need to hear kind of like a praise, have the Dom be a praise Dom, because that's going to get to me way more than being a punishing Dom. Because I just didn't get to hear it from my parents. And I didn't really get affirmed or validated for all that I am and all my accomplishments, which, I was trying to, I think, achieve some, to get some attention and, some validation. And no matter how perfect I was, it just never seemed to um, elicit that in them. They just don't have that built into them to be much of a cheerleader or an encourager. So I got clear that that's really what I would like to experience in a dom, where he is like more like praising me, like we're almost the opposite of the punishment one, where it's like everything I do is great and I'm being affirmed and validated and praised or whatever, for all the things that I am doing and how I'm responding to him. And that pleasure is more a part of it than the pain part of it. So it's so fascinating, isn't it? So it was interesting, he did have all the tools. And so like he put a collar on me and he had arm restraints, foot restraints, which were fun. Um, and even a blindfold would have been fun too. But at any rate, I got to play with it. Like I noticed, I just wanted to tease him so hard because I just saw through the whole thing, and I just, was sort of, and even saying, I'm confused because I did that for you, and now you're telling me it's wrong, and and stuff. So, at any rate, um, So at one point, what happened was, I kind of just had to make myself play along with it because I was realizing that I just didn't. So, that was, yeah, one of the first things that came up, and I was like, wow, this really helps you identify how you relate to authority big time, right? And I guess I honestly just did not trust it. I was like, you're going to manipulate me, you're going to try to make me do what you want me to do, and it's all about what you want. And I just noticed myself inside going, well, what about what I want? And I'm an equal here. I'm not a subordinate to you. And so it was, I was having to like kind of calm that down and just go along with it so I could have the experience. So I guess that's part of brat taming is what they call that. And then at one point I was really surprised. We're both very energetic. So that's awesome because everything starts with energetics. Like you can literally just start running energy together and it's amazing. And he's really good at doing that with me. I love that. Because I mean, you can just have energetic sex and it's so amazing without penetration or any physical stuff. And so he, I was really surprised that at one point he unlocked my arm restraints that were on my wrists. And I just had this huge flood of energy just go through me. I had this, like, it looks like an orgasm, even though it's just an energetic orgasm. It's not pleasurable. It's just there's a lot of energy running through my body. And so I had this huge rush. And of course, he's advanced enough that he knows how to really get in on that and enjoy it and get in on that energy. And it was kind of fun. He was telling me like to squeeze a lot, and which is something I don't normally do, honestly. I just let the energy run. I don't try to manipulate it or make it do anything, but he was telling me to squeeze a lot down there. That was interesting. But I was surprised that I had this huge rush of energy when he unlocked my handcuffs on my wrists, and then some tears came up too that I was surprised about. And, sometimes things are just locked in our bodies and then it surfaces, right? Because there's a certain level of frustration and coming to the surface of any kind of frustration around authority and being told what to do and being constantly punished no matter what you do. So I think it was just that, and some sadness around that too, honestly. Um, and so I started crying, and then I remember just saying, "Master, be nice to me," in my crying, and so he really, quieted and slowed things down at that moment because I needed more, of a loving experience instead of being always punished and told I'm wrong or whatever, or that I misbehaved. And I haven't been told that much in my life because I was always so good and so mature for my age. And so to not be seen is kind of where the sadness was, of being treated that way. Um, anyway, that was really fascinating. And I also played quite a bit with requests too as the sub, like if I noticed I wanted to experience something or kind of guided in a certain way, then I would ask him if he'd be willing to do this or that. And that was cool. He did some nipple clamp play, which he really enjoyed, probably more than I did. um, but I did like being able to request things. That was more of interest to me than just having yeah, the punishing part of it. What else can I tell you? Yeah, it seems like that was the highlight. And then, because I was calling him master at first, because that felt right to me. And then I, at some point, asked him to call me baby girl. And then that like unleashed a whole different deal where I got to call him daddy. And of course, that was loaded for me because I haven't had much of a dad in my life. When I was 1.5, my brother was born. And so my dad shifted all of his love and energy to my brother. And it never ended. It was just always that way. So I kind of lost my dad when I was 1.5, and we were pretty tight and close. And it was really sweet before that happened. And so I felt really abandoned and betrayed at a young age by a man, the main man in my life. And, it was my first heartbreak. So the whole daddy thing is really a sweet spot for me. And so I noticed I started laughing, like really in a way that he was like, that's a naughty laugh. And I did have a love of my life where we used to call each other daddy and baby girl. And it was always just so sweet. Um, so it kind of brought that out again. And my play partner actually does remind me a lot of that love of my life. They look the same and they're built the same and they're both anomalies. And um, so it was really fun to play with that because that's sort of an endearing term for sure for each other. And it kind of brought out, yeah, that side of me that likes to play with that. And what else can I say? I think those were sort of that was kind of like the highlights. So I think I got really clear on what I'm wanting to experience next, what I like, what I don't like. Um because everyone's rigged differently, right? By how their parents treated them, by how they were raised and their experiences. And so I just got really clear on how I need to be dommed because I don't think I'm easily dommed. Like I don't really trust, or at least a lot of the way people dom. I mean, it can vary quite a bit, but there's a part of me that's like, I'm not here for your pleasure. I'm here to have an equal experience of mutual pleasure. And I have given enough in my life to deserve for it to come back to me. Anyway, um, so next time we talked about me doming him because he loves, I guess, to be that kind of slave role and is capable of playing as deep and far as I want to. And so it'll be really fun for me to experience the dom in me come out and see what shows up there for me, and what I notice. And I think that I'm actually more excited about that, to be honest. I think I'm a little bit more dom than sub, honestly. I don't feel like I'm very tameable. Like it just, I just see through it too much. Like it would have to be done in a certain way, where there's like genuine love there. There's not really any need for punishing, or unless it's just like in a flirtatious teasing way, but otherwise it seems like it needs to be more of like I love the thought of being domed when it's just like him being powerful and like ravishing me and being assertive and throwing me around, or um yeah, like that. And but kind of more as an equal though. And there's none of this degradation, punishment, bad mouthing kind of stuff going on. So there you have it. I am so excited to experience that actually, because I really want to see that side of myself come out. I kind of am a light dom, I guess, sensual dom, a tantric dom, in the sense that, I'm running my sessions. I'm the one that's the specialist. I know the techniques. I'm giving them an experience they've never had before with these techniques. A lot of people have never had prostate massage or done the breathing exercises or understand how that gives you a better orgasm and allows you to last longer. And so I'm kind of lightly doming in a way, but to like do it in a way where I'm kind of bossy maybe, or just more assertive. um and just asking him to do what I feel like doing, where it's about me instead of, because my sessions are still all about my client and giving them what they need to empower them. It's not about me and my getting what I want necessarily. So, anyway, I'll keep you posted.